OpenAI's GPT 5.5 just changed AI forever. OpenAI just released a model that uses half the tokens of the one before it, and almost nobody is talking about it. It is called GPT 5.5, and it landed on April 23, 2026, with no big keynote, no Sam Altman tweet storm, no countdown clock, just a quiet drop inside ChatGPT and Codex. And yet, the people who have spent the last 2 days pushing it hard are saying the same thing. This one is different. This one feels like the jump we were all waiting for. Here is the part that made me sit up. GPT 5.5 does the same complex task as GPT 5.4 using roughly half the tokens. Let that sink in for a second. Tokens are what you pay for. Tokens are what slow the model down. Tokens are the hidden tax on every single thing you do with AI. Cutting them in half is not a feature. It is a whole new pricing reality, and the model is not dumber for it. It is actually smarter. It reasons better, it codes better, it holds context across huge projects better. That combination almost never happens at the same time in AI. Usually you get cheaper or smarter. This time, you got both. And I will tell you in a minute about the one thing it still cannot do that OpenAI is being very quiet about. Let me give you a picture that might help. Imagine you hired an assistant last year. They were brilliant but a little slow, and every hour they worked cost you $20. Now imagine the same person comes back from a long vacation, and suddenly they finish the same work in half the time for $10 an hour. And they are also better at the hard stuff than they were before. You would not call that an update. You would call that a different person. That is what GPT 5.5 feels like compared to GPT 5.4. It is the same family, same voice, same interface. But the thing behind the screen is working at a level the old version simply could not reach. And most people logging in today will not even notice the version number changed. Before we go deeper, I want to tell you about something I think you will find useful. If you are watching this and thinking, I need to actually use these AI tools in my work, not just hear about them, then check out AI Profit Boardroom. It is where I break down exactly how to save hours every week by putting tools like GPT 5.5 into your daily workflow. You get real systems for writing, research, planning, and automation. No fluff, no theory, just the exact playbook I use. The link is in the description. Now, back to the story. Here's the first real revelation, and it is bigger than the token news. GPT 5.5 is the first model that genuinely feels like an agent you can trust with a long task. OpenAI calls this agentic coding, and the name sounds boring, but what it actually means is wild. You can give it a messy business problem with half-written notes, scattered files, and vague goals, and it will build a plan, pick the right tools, try things, fail, notice the failure, and fix itself without you babysitting every step. Developers testing it on Codex yesterday were describing sessions where they handed the model a broken code base and walked away for 20 minutes. They came back to find it had not only fixed the bug, but had also cleaned up 3 other things it noticed along the way. That is not autocomplete. That is a junior engineer who actually wants the job. And wait until I tell you what happened when one team pointed it at a scientific paper. The second thing worth knowing is how it handles scale. GPT 5.4 could hold a long conversation. GPT 5.5 can hold an entire system in its head. Think of the difference between someone who remembers the last 10 things you said and someone who remembers the whole relationship. That is the gap. One early tester on the OpenAI community forum described feeding it a 300-page technical spec and asking it to find contradictions between Chapter 2 and Chapter 11. The old model would have lost the thread by page 50. The new one flagged 7 real conflicts and explained each one in plain English. For anyone who deals with long documents, contracts, research, or messy project notes, this is the moment the tool starts doing the part of your job that used to eat your entire afternoon. The third thing is speed, and this is where it gets strange. You would expect a smarter model to be slower. More reasoning usually means more waiting. But GPT 5.5 matches the latency of GPT 5.4 on complex tasks. Same wait time. More thinking. Less output cost? I've been doing this long enough to tell you that trio almost never shows up together. Usually one of them gets sacrificed. OpenAI seems to have found a way to route the hard thinking through fewer, smarter steps, which is why the token count drops so sharply. And here's the playful detail that caught me. In one demo making the rounds, someone asked GPT 5.5 to plan a 5-minute video script on itself. It wrote the outline, suggested the visuals, timed the sections, and then, without being asked, added a note at the bottom saying the script would probably underperform on YouTube because the hook was too technical. The model critiqued its own output. That is new. Now, here's where I have to be straight with you, because everything I have said so far sounds like a sales pitch and you deserve better. GPT 5.5 is not available on the API yet. OpenAI has held it back while they finish safety testing, which means if you are a developer building a product, you cannot plug it in today. Only ChatGPT Plus, Pro, Business, and Enterprise users have it inside the chat interface, and Pro users get the deepest agent features. That gap matters. It means a lot of the small tools and apps you use every day are still running on older models, and they will not feel the upgrade for weeks or maybe months. There is also the honest question of bias and hallucination, which OpenAI admits in their own system card is still a real issue on edge cases. The model is better. It is not perfect. Anyone telling you otherwise is selling something. But here is the reframe. The fact that OpenAI is releasing the consumer version first and slowing the API rollout tells you something important. They are more worried about misuse than they are about missing a revenue window. That is a signal about the direction the whole industry is moving, and it is worth paying attention to. Let me step back and tell you what I actually think this means. For the last 2 years, every AI release has followed the same pattern. Bigger model, louder announcement, marginal real-world change. Most of us learn to tune it out. GPT 5.5 breaks that pattern because the change is not in the headlines. It is in the cost curve. When a model gets twice as efficient without getting dumber, you do not just get a better chatbot. You get a floor that drops out from under every AI-powered business. Things that were too expensive to automate 6 months ago become cheap overnight. Tasks that needed a human in the loop because the math did not work now pencil out without one. This is the part most people are going to miss. They will log into ChatGPT, ask the same questions they always ask, get slightly better answers, and move on. Meanwhile, the people building the next wave of products are looking at those token numbers and rewriting their entire roadmaps this week. That is the divide that is quietly forming right now, and which side of it you land on depends on whether you treat this as just another update or as the signal that it actually is. Think about what that means for your own work. If you write for a living, you can now run drafts through a model that genuinely understands your whole document, not just the last paragraph. If you code, you can hand off entire features instead of single functions. If you run a business, you can point the model at a quarter of messy notes and ask it to find the patterns you missed. None of this is theoretical. It is live today, inside the app you probably already pay for. The only question is whether you sit down and actually try it with a real task this weekend, or whether you wait until everyone else has figured it out and the edge is gone. Because an edge in AI right now lasts about 3 weeks, maybe 4. Then it becomes the new normal, and the next model drops, and we start over. So before you close this tab, a couple of things. First, if you want to actually put GPT 5.5 to work and save real hours in your week, come check out AI Profit Boardroom. I walk through exactly how to use the new Agentic features for writing, research, and automation, with real examples you can copy. And if you want the full process, the SOPs, and over 100 AI use cases like this one, join the AI Success Lab. It is our free community with 67,000 members who are already crushing it with AI every single day. The links are in the comments and the description, and you can grab all the notes from this video there too. Second, I want to hear from you in the comments, and I want a specific answer, not a vague one. What is the one task in your week right now that you wish AI could just take off your plate completely? Drop it below. I read every single one, and I pick a few to break down in future videos. If you liked this one, I think you will really get something out of the video I made on the 5 AI tools I actually use every single day. It pairs perfectly with what we just covered, and it will save you weeks of testing ones that do not work.